Let's get a start demo first of .NET MAUI with Firebase Realtime DB. So here I just build up .NET MAUI application, integrate with that Firebase DB. So let me quickly add that some cheap hotels. So let me add, for example, so my first hotel name is would be like this guy, right? And there's some ratings and all. So let me quickly add some ratings over here. So once I save it, see, I just get that hotel along with the image and their rating as well. So same things also this Android application, like this is a window app and this is our Android app, right? So once I add, so automatically get populated that data over here as well, right? So this is the beauty of that Firebase real-time DB. And suppose, for example, let me add more hotels over here. So quickly add another hotel. So that is name of this, and then if I add some ratings and all, so let me add another hotel, and then once I save it, so now see, another hotel also got populated over here as well as Android. So same thing, see, if I can just add it using that Android as well, Android or iOS, whatever applications you want. So you can just using this guy, for example. So let me add the hotel over here. So value hostel. So this is another hotel. This is a cheap hotel. And once I done, and also let me add some rating for that. So this have 3 star over there in this here in this hotel, and also is the rating for this 4.1 out of 5, right? And then simply save it. So once I save it in your Android app, it's got populated in your window as well. So this will be implementation quickly in our in this session. So before we start implementation, you have to know actually what is .NET MAUI and how we can how actually it's work and on all, right? So for that, I'm especially recommend visit my channel, which is .NET Real World Example, and here you can just simply search over here .NET MAUI. So once you search the .NET MAUI, you will get many session for the .NET MAUI. So you can just learn. This is a complete a playlist. You can go through that playlist. You can get that idea. Okay, what is that MAUI and all, right? So if you new, so definitely it is a recommendation to you, because all that complete series actually I completed for that .NET MAUI. How we can start that, create a new application .NET MAUI, get that list binding, add form and all, complete session I just completed. So you can go through and check out that. So now let me start. So before you start, what you need to do, you have to record another things, that is a Firebase console login, right? So let me quickly open that console Firebase login. This is that login. And also you are not familiar with what is a Firebase and all, right? So there is another session actually I just created in my channel. Go to that, you will get that Firebase complete Firebase information over there, how we can create that project, how we can integrate in our Blazor application or any web application or any other application with the .NET. So you will get that idea. So now what you need to do, simply you have to log in with your whatever user, right? So with the Google, you have to log in, and you have to just create a new project. So let me quickly create a project. The project name would be, for example, Mayu with uh, Firebase, right? And then quickly continue and select that default one, create a project. It will take some time to create a project. So once you complete, click on that continue. Once you continue, it will land actually that project which you just newly created. So this is that newly project we have to create it, Mayu with the Firebase. And here you have to go to that build section, and in this build section you have to go to that real-time DB. So this is that section. Okay, so you have to go to that real-time database, click on that real-time database, and here you have to just create a database. Click on that create database and simply choose whatever location you want. So I'll just choose it as default. Next, and here there's a two section. One is that locked mode and another is in a test mode. So as of now I will use the test mode, but upcoming session will use also how we can restrict that user, like particular user can able to read write operations, right? So let me quickly enable on that. So once you're done, now you are getting this URL. So this is that main URL which we'll use in our .NET MAUI application or any applications, right? We can use that URL and we can easily now send the data and store the data in our Firebase Realtime DB. So let me open a Visual Studio first. Click on that Visual Studio and create a new project. And here I'll choose the .NET MAUI. So if you're not aware that MAUI and all, so that's why I recommendation, please go to my watch and .NET MAUI application. So click on .NET MAUI, next, and here I'll just choose that name, MAUI app real time DB with Firebase, right? And then change to that whatever project location, next, and using that whatever framework, I'll use .NET 8. Now got created my project, and it will take some time to restore all the dependencies. And this is that default template and all, so I'm not going to details, but yeah, first we have to make sure, okay, whatever actually we created a default template, that is working fine or not. So let me run this application using that window app first, then we will run this Android app. So let me run this first. So this application is running perfectly, and also once I click, so see, it is click event also working. That means the default template is working fine. Let me close that. So let me change the Android one. So use whatever your emulator. I'll choose this guy and just run this application. Now got running, and once I click, now see, it is working fine, right? So let me quickly close those all and let start implementation. So first things we record in a one package. So let me quickly add one package first. Go to the NuGet package and look for what this guy, Firebase, this guy, right? Firebase database.net, and install, apply, accept, and done, right? So once I done, now go back to here in the application, and here what I will do, I'll configure one that Firebase client, right? So before configuration, first I let me go to that main dot page. First let me design one form where I just input that hotel information, for example hotel name and description, and we can just click that save button and it should be saved in our Firebase DB. So let me quickly here, like after this label, before that counter button, after that actually I'll just create a form. So what would be my form? It's simple form, like for example entry. I'll just add that two entry box over here. So one entry box is name entry, and here let me change to enter the hotel name, right? And then another one would be as a description. So whatever description user wants, so they can add over here, for example enter description, right? And then I'll just use this button because I record one button. Once I input this to field, once I save button, we can get that information and save it to on our DB, right? So go to that here, main.page.xml file. Here let me quickly just change that name over here on save, right? And then first I change this button. Let me remove that all that unnecessary code over here, whatever the existing one, right? So once I change, now see, I have to change the name as well, like on save, and also let me change the text save, right? And yeah, that click button also got changed. Rest of things we are good, right? So now my form is ready, right? This is that two entry box and one button. And go back to your code behind file over here on save. As of now actually I'm using just very simple implementation, like using that code behind file, but yeah, I'll use that MBVM model using that advanced feature which is community toolkit provided. Already we have create a session, but yeah, we will use with Firebase as well. So don't worry about that, we'll do an upcoming session. But now, as of now, I'll just keep it simple so that you can understand, okay, how we can actually integrate easily in our Firebase DB in our .NET MAUI application. So what I need to do now actually require that Firebase client, because that Firebase client actually to send the data and save it to our Firebase here, right? So now what you need to do, go to that maui.program.cs file here, and here I have to just register that client. So simply you have to do that builder dot services dot add singleton. I will use as singleton over here, and then inside this at singleton use that Firebase client. So this is that coming from Firebase database, and inside this actually they expecting base URL. So where you will get that base URL? Now go back to here, which I already create the real-time database, and we have this is that URL. So let me copy this guy. Okay, this is that copy option. So simply pass it to over here, right, and save it, right. So this configuration registration is done. Now we are good to go to use this Firebase client. There's the way also you can just directly create the instance and use it, but yeah, that is not a good way, right? So that is fine. Now what I will do, simply I'll just inject this client and in this constructor, and I will use that. So create a property, a private property, and initialize on this here, and then we are good to go to use this guy. Firebase client dot child, and mention here whatever child nodes, right? So my child node would be, for example, hotel. So I'm just creating a hotel information. So I'll just create a hotel, and then use that post async method. And inside this post async method, what I need to do, I have to send that model. So what is that model? I don't have. So that model I have to just create it. So let me quickly create a model. Right click on that add folder, create a model property, add class hotel, and here I'll just whatever property I required this particular model, I have to just is declaration over here. So my first would be the ID, then name, then description, and then last one would be our image URL. So this is that normal property which I using over here, but yeah, in real world we have to more, right? Save it and go back to here and just simply add whatever your property you required, whatever model you required. So use that hotel, and simply I just use that property. So my first property would be this, and getting the name from that name entry dot text field, right? So this is coming from in our form, like in main.ds file. If you go to here, so see this is this two field, the name is name entry and description entry, right? So this is I'm getting that value from here and assign to this model, and similar I have to use that description and description dot entry, right? And here actually we getting one error. It is saying something argument cannot convert it to string, right? Because see, this is actually required the string, right? String means it is required actually that query. So we have to send as a query, not as a model. So for this, what I can do, simply see, once I mouse over, you will get this option, right? And once I click over here, you will get this namespace. So what, let me add this namespace. Once I add this namespace, see, the error has gone, and that's all, right? And then finally what I need to do, simply once I complete it, I just assign as a string.empty so that I can make it to empty over here, this two field, so that user can again re-enter all that information, right? So this is just a simple implementation. So yeah, that's all. And let me quickly build it. Yeah, we are getting fail. What is that issue? Let me quickly figuring out. So here is already contain on save, right? So somewhere on save, see, main page already we have saved, so go back to main page on save. Yeah, so see, I just add the name and also the common, right? So what I can do, I can simply change to save, right, and save it and build it. Now this time build succeed, right? And now first let me try to run in our Windows app. Run it. So now I'm getting one error, right? So this is something I missed that, because see, I'm using some dependency on this this file, right? The main dot page, right? And also just adding this dependency. So if I adding some dependency, all definitely I have to resolve that as well. So what I will do, simply just close that application and go to that main page. And here what I will do, simply we have to register same things also, service dot add singleton, and here I'll just add that main page and just close it, right? So that is done. Now let me try to run. Now I'm getting that running this application. See, I'm getting this too, and along with this button, right? So quickly just add the information, for example, test hotel, along with the description. For example, it is has a 3 star, along with 4 out of 5, right? It's the rating. Save it. So once I save, it is saved successfully. And let me check the database, because as of now we are not binding. So if you go to that real-time database, if you just expand that and expand that, now see, whatever data I just added, I'm just getting this data over here, right? So now we are going to bind this data in our application, because now easily we have easily just added, right? So this is the way how we can easily add. Let me add one more from that, not here, let me add from that Android application as well. So let me open this as an Android application, run this application. Now deploy successfully. It still is a try to run. Now it is running perfectly. And let me add another hotel, for example, Paradise, right? Paradise. And this hotel would be rating is 3 star, and along with the rating 4 of 5, and save it. So once we save, it's gone. That means successfully saved. Let me check in the database. So there should be two data. Yeah, see, this one, this old one, this is the new one, and coming from this Paradise, right? So yeah, that means it's working fine in this window and as well as an Android. So now we have to get the data and bind the data in here, whatever data we have added. So that data we have to bind in this collection over here in this same page, right? So let me close that and go to that main page.xaml file. And here what I need to do, first I'll just create a one method, right? Like for example, public async and task, and then create a method, for example, load data async, and then I have to just implement to retrieve the data for here. So again, it's simple as like be done, right? So using this client, so in this client dot the child, and then pass whatever your child node. So my child node would be the hotel, right? So which I already see, we have seen, right? So this is that if you see, this is that child node. So this is a hotel, and in this hotel what I can do, what would be a return type, right? So as observable, so using that as observable, and what is that no model, we have to retrieve and map that over here, right? So that would be our hotel, which I already create as a model. And here, once that as observable, we have to use that subscriber. So inside the subscriber we will get all the data. So let me create a lambda function over here. So for example, item, and this item we have to use this guy, right? And in this guy, what I can do, I have to just try. First, let me check, like, okay, this item, it should not be null, right? So let me check as a if condition. If item dot, actually it is written with this item dot object. So item dot object, it should be not null, then we can store the data over here. So let me quickly here, yeah. So now I have to, whatever, now I get the data from this object, right? Whatever that objects, it is a returning the hotel object. So I just add it in our list. So for that, actually I just create a list over here quickly. So let me quickly create a list before that over here, and the private, in memory list. So this is my collection list over here. I'll use that observable connection like my list, and just create a new instance of that, so that it should not be null in first time. So in this list, what I will do, simply I add all the data over here, list dot add, and then this is that object I have to pass over there. So whatever data we'll get, I have to just add in this observable list. That's it. And then finally close that. And once I close, right, so that's all. So this is simple implementation. And this load method I have to just call on our lifecycle hook. So either you can just call on over here, like once in load your page, so you can call it over here, or either I will use, this is the overload, there's a overload method on navigation change, yeah, see, on navigation 2. So every time it's navigating this page to here and there, this actually event will fire, and I can simply call this guy as a over here as a async await, right? And then simply call it. That's it. So now we are get the data and storing the data in this here. So now we have to design to be show in our uh, this XAML page, right? XML main.xaml page. So go to that, and here I have to just design after this button, add button, I have to just design that collection view. So what I can do first let me create a collection view over here. So this is my collection view, and close that. So this is my collection view, right? And in this collection view, I just simply bind my model, my this guy, right, observable collection. And in here I have to just design. So I'm not going to design because I just using as a design, as a template and all. So let me quickly use this template, right, inside this collection view. I'll explain what we are doing. So see, I just using this collection template, and using the template id, template data template, using that grid, and grid just specify what is that column and here, right? And also we'll use as a image, right? And this image actually we have to just try to bind as a directly from this local source, but yeah, in real world you can get from this model, and you can just bind in that image to directly over here. And also see, I using that one level where I just bind this name, and another level will bind in the description, right? So save it, build it. So build succeed, that means there is no issue. So first I will run with this window app. So choose that window, run this application. Now application is running, but see, I'm not getting that data, right? Whatever, because already we have entered two hotels, but the two hotels should populate over here, but that is not populating. That means I missed something. So what I have missed, let me check quickly. So first let me quickly debug over here. So whatever data we are trying to get store on here, that is properly storing or not. Let me check it. Let me stop that, run it again, and application is running. Now it is reaching over here, and now see, I'm getting the data, the test hotel also getting, and it is got stored, that is fine. Then again I'm getting another data, that is a Paradise Hotel, that is also fine. That means data is properly storing, but binding issue, right? So let me close and see what I miss. So over here, see, I miss one thing actually in this main page.xml file. Here actually that context binding, actually that I missed that. So I have to just binding context. So binding context and use that current keyword, this keyword, so that whatever DB or whatever properties and all, so that should be binding over here in the initial level, right? So that is done. Now let's see, run this application and remove that debugger point over here and continue. So now once I continue, now see, I am getting the data, but this is image is empty because I have not image as of now. But yeah, from the data's perspective, it is working fine. Let me add another one. For example, pizza hotel, right? Pizza hotel, and star would be the 5 and 5 out 5, right? And save it. Once I save, see, it's automatically got populated over here, right? So that means for data's perspective it's perfectly fine. And let me quickly fix that in image one also. Remove that and go to here. You are able to see the resource folder, and in this resource folder, in this image, let me quickly add one image, existing item, and use my existing folder, use that all files, and this all files I will use this hotel image, add this image, right? And that is fine. And already also we have just configured that image name. Yeah, we just add this source as a my image name, save it and run it. Now I got one error. What is that error? So see, yeah, there is a one error. It is saying whatever image name I just added, that is wrong. Actually, image name should consider as a small name. So let me quickly change that. So edit, run it. So now it's loading, and now also see image all populated. So but yeah, this is a static image, right? So that also can populate it the same way for population, right? So this is fine. And now let me add another hotel, for example, Humania, and that name is star would be as a 3 star and 5 out 5. Save, and it should be populated. Now see, I'm getting that whatever that new hotel is called. And same things we will check with our Android one. So go to that Android one, change that Android emulator, run this application. Now it's a start to deploy. Now it's deploy successful, and also we are getting the data, whatever the data that over here. And let me add one more over here, for example, new from Android, right? Android hotel, and then add a star, total 5 star, 5 out 5, and just save it. So once I save it, it should be populated. Yeah, see the last one, it is a newly we have added over here. So let me run side by side both application, Android and desktop app together. So for this, what I can do, I have to just close that application and stop that. Actually, for both application, we have to run in one machine. So in that one debugger mode will not work, right? So without debugging, actually we have to run these two applications. So first, let me run this without debugging. Yeah, now Android is running. So similar, what I will do, simply change to window machine and run it without debugging. Now this also is running, and let me side by side. Yeah, so here, see, all the data from here as well, all the data from here as well, right? So let me add one more data over here. So from desktop app, and then rating would be here 5 out 5. Save it. Yeah, see, from desktop is there, and also from desktop is there. Similar, if I add from here, for example, final Android app, and then add my rating. So this is my rating, 5 star, also 5 out 5. Save it. So it should be populated over here. Yeah, final over here. Also, that should be, yeah, this is that one. And also we can make sure to our DB as well. So that should be, see, all the data. This is that final one. So like that, actually very easy. We can implement our now Android app with this Firebase DB and without any issue and all, right. So that's all for this session, and have a nice day, and thank you. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share.